Good morning, neighbors, fellow New Yorkers, distinguished members of our armed forces and veterans, fellow Americans, and distinguished guests. My name is Neil Berson. I'm a board member of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument Association and one of the people responsible for bringing you this event here today. Former Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta asked me to deliver this address to you today. Secretary Panetta is a quintessential American patriot with a long history of dedicated public service that he will tell you about in his address. As I've come to know him, he is a man of great honor, integrity, kindness, and generosity. You will hear and understand why we chose him to deliver the keynote address on this important day of remembrance. And now, without further ado, I will read Secretary Panetta's address. It is entitled, "Give Them Their Meaning." Distinguished members of the United States military, honored veterans and families, supporters of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to have my memorial address presented to you at this historic Soldiers and Sailors Monument. I deeply regret that I am not able to join you all personally, but I have a long-standing commitment to speak at a Veterans Memorial in San Jose, California, where I live. I am, however, honored to have Neil Berson present my words to all of you on this Memorial Day. New York City has a special place in my heart for a number of reasons. First of all, because I am the son of immigrants who, like millions of other people, came to this country through Ellis Island. My parents would often remind me of the special moment they first saw the Statue of Liberty. I would ask my father why he and my mother traveled all that distance to a strange land, leaving family and friends. I never forgot my father's response: "Because your mother and I believed we could give our children a better way of life in this country." That is the American dream. In my over 50 years of public life, I've had the honor to live that dream by serving the American people as an Army officer, decorated I might add, Congressman, Chief of Staff to the United States President, Director of Central Intelligence Agency, and Secretary of Defense. Like political career, I've had the opportunity to work with many elected officials in New York City, both Republican and Democrat. In the early 1970s, I served as an executive assistant to then Mayor John Lindsay. On 9/11, I was serving as a member of the board of the New York Stock Exchange when that building became a refuge for those escaping the terrorist attack on the World Trade Center towers. This great city is in many ways the heart and soul of America. When it was attacked on 9/11, we were all attacked. And when we went to war to make sure that attack would never happen again. The Soldiers and Sailors Monument, although dedicated in 1902 by President Theodore Roosevelt to the memory of the brave soldiers and sailors who saved the Union, it stands as a memorial to all of our brave veterans, past and present, for their service to the nation. Our fervent prayer and our commitment must be that this memorial will continue to remain a historic landmark that will forever remind our people, young and old, of the sacrifices made by all of the veterans we honor today. I will forever be proud to have led the silent warriors of the CIA as director in the operation that brought bin Laden to justice, the terrorist leader who planned the 9/11 attack. The dedicated intelligence officers who found the compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, and the brave SEALs who conducted the operation, flying 150 miles at night on 2 helicopters, not knowing what they'd have to confront, represent the fighting spirit of our men and women in intelligence and in the military. We sent a clear message to the world that nobody attacks the United States of America and gets away with it. Memorial Day is a day to reflect on the responsibility of protecting the peace, as well as the price of war. It is a day to commemorate those who served in America's wars and remember what they did for us, their service and their sacrifices on our behalf. The highest appreciation for our veteran services, however, is to be thankful for their duty and honor their sacrifices to our country every day of the year. We must not merely express words of indebtedness on a holiday, but to live by those words in our everyday lives. Quote, "Dead soldiers do not speak," close quote, Archibald MacLeish writes in a famous poem. Quote, "They say, we leave you our deaths, give them their meaning." No words better express the selfless heroism of the men and women who fought and died for our country. No words better capture the charge they put before us today. That freedom is not free, and it is our duty and responsibility to fulfill the ideals they fought for, to give their sacrifices meaning. Our warriors have reported for duty across America, from small towns to big cities, from the heartland and from the coasts. They were ready to go halfway around the world to fight against tyrants, dictators, and terrorists. They knew they may never come home, but they knew they were serving a cause greater than themselves. They answered the clarion call as stated in Isaiah chapter 6, verse 8. Quote, "And then I heard the voice of the Lord asking, whom shall I send? Who will go for us? And I said, here I am, Lord, send me." That is the sound of the trumpet that frankly calls all of us to duty to serve our democracy. And our first duty is to never forget the selfless heroism of the men and women who fought and died for our country. What our veterans have shown us through their service and example is that a strong country and democracy are up to us all. Freedom and democracy include participation and responsibility from all of us. If we realize this, as the men and women we commemorate here today, then hope for a unified democracy will return to our hearts in these troubled times. We should also pause to remember and pay tribute another generation of warriors who are putting their lives on the line in Ukraine to fight against a tyrant who without justification invaded their country. Putin, like Hitler 70 years ago, does not believe people should have the freedom to decide what kind of country they want for themselves and their children. Because of the values and freedom that our warriors have fought and died because of the values and freedom that our warriors have fought and died for throughout our history, we cannot allow this bully to prevail. It is right that the United States and our NATO allies are unified in support of Ukraine. This is a pivotal moment for the world. What happens will tell us a lot about the future of democracies in the 21st century. In many ways, everything we have fought and died for is at stake in this war. The freedom of people to decide what kind of country they want. Today, at this historic landmark to our veterans, we honor all warriors who are willing to fight and die for their country. The real strength of this nation lies in the spirit, resilience, bravery, courage, dedication to duty, honor, and country that are the values of our men and women in uniform. As Secretary of Defense, I saw those values in the eyes of our brave warriors. I saw those values on the battlefields of Iraq and Afghanistan, in counterterrorism operations in Somalia, North Africa, and in the Middle East. In those who are now standing watch, conducting missions, and working to disrupt, dismantle, and defeat terrorists, weapons proliferators, and hostile adversaries who would do us harm. I saw it in the eyes of those brave intelligence officers and SEALs involved in the Bin Laden raid. Our duty is not just to fight for our country, but also to fight to make sure that we have a country that is worth fighting for, an America that remains true to its founding principles of freedom and liberty for all, of equal justice and opportunity regardless of race, color, creed, or gender, of honest leadership committed to the truth, and a government by and for all people. If we fulfill our duty to country, our generations will be able to say, as so many generations before us said, we fought the good fight, we finished our work, democracy has been preserved for our time. I realize that part of the purpose of this gathering at this historic landmark is to encourage support for the necessary repair of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. I strongly encourage you in this important effort because this monument stands as a living tribute to all of our brave veterans, past and present. In the words of the poet, they say, we leave you our deaths, give them their meaning. By restoring this monument and remembering all of those who sacrificed for our nation, we truly give them their meaning, so that future generations of Americans will continue to honor them on this day and every day. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. With your permission, a brief postscript. I hope you were as inspired to have listened to Secretary Panetta's words as I was in reading them to you. President Lincoln admonished us more than 150 years ago that a nation that does not honor its heroes will not long endure. We New Yorkers and Americans are reminded to not let that happen. We are determined to not let that happen. Let us heed President Lincoln's words and the words of Secretary Panetta, Gail Brewer, Congressman Nadler, and restore our nation and restore this monument, and let us do that now. Thank you. May God bless America, our sweet land of liberty.